Kiani. Today's video is going to be my next installment to my Test It Invest series, where I'll be highlighting the new Anastasia of Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. For the summer of 2016, there has not been any shortage of new eyeshadow palettes that have been launched, and of course it leaves the girl to wonder, do I need another palette? This one to be included. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, or if you're brand new, I am such a fan of a lot of the Anastasia eyeshadow palettes. I do collect them. I absolutely love them. And that again left me to think, do I really need this palette? And honestly, I went into the store thinking, I really don't need that palette. I really don't need that palette. And I would walk out without it. I end up purchasing the Gwen Stefani palette just because I was thinking I really don't need that Anastasia palette. But then I said, okay, Kiani, quit being a skeptic, take it home, take a look at the palette, and really see if you need it. And honestly, I thought I was going to come to the conclusion that I have so many eyeshadow palettes that really make me not need this one. You guys have heard me mention my NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette. I love this one. Just received the new Dark Matte Bizart palette, and honestly, when I look at these palettes comparatively to the Anastasia palette, I do see similar. Not until you really decide to create an eye look that you can really see the beauty of this palette. Modern Renaissance palette comes with 14 technically distinctive different colors. It starts out with the beauty of the nice warms with this tempera shade right here that comes out like a real pretty cream. It comes into this beautiful mustardy taupe. It drops down into this beautiful brown, which is more of a cool brown, called Raw Sienna. And then it backs it up with another beautiful taupey brown shade called Burnt Orange. I am absolutely obsessed with all my taupes. And of course, when I'm looking at palettes like this, I think, am I going to be able to travel with it? This is the differentiation between those four shades right there. Can you see that? Pigmentation, one swatch, not really even putting a primer underneath my eye, giving me mega versatility. So of course I decided to do an eye look, and I said, you know what, I'm going to see how much can I really blend these shadows. Can they really blend on top of one another? Because if not, giving me another excuse to take this $42 palette back to Sephora. So I created a beautiful everyday natural eye. Obviously you can apply eyeliner, you can apply lashes and really glam it up, but just for a real quick, simple, neutral look, I think this Modern Renaissance has you covered. Then I move over to more the middle of the palette, and I move into these beautiful cool shades. And me as a blonde, I'm really getting into a lot more of the cooler shades. I really love how they blend out and give my brown eyes an amazing pop. So let's talk about this shade called Bouillon Fresco. Again, another pretty cool kind of mauve shade. Then we have this beautiful shade called Red Ochre. And I know you girls are thinking, oh, what are we going to do with red? But it blends out absolutely stunningly. We have another amazing shade called Antique Bronze. Look at that. Antique Bronze is stunning as well. It does have little flakes of shimmer in it, which Anastasia is definitely known for. She gives you different textures in this eyeshadow. However, it still gives you the exact same amount of blendability. The textures do not change the amount of blendability. The shades are a little bit powdery, but they don't kick up a lot. And then let's talk about this beautiful shade here called Venetian Red. If you guys have ever been to Vegas and gone into the hotel called Venetian, that's exactly what this shade reminds me of. And I'm just going to swatch these for you. Again, one swatch, mega pigmentation. So can you imagine how long you would have this palette? And again, the versatility of the palette is going to take you directly from summer 2016 straight into fall of 2016. So of course the versatility is not going to give me an excuse to take the palette back. And then lastly, we move into this latter quadrant here, which is going to be more of your smokier, your deeper mattes. So this beautiful shade called Love Letter. Oh my God, it's a beautiful mix between a plum and kind of a red, which I think when I initially looked at the palette, I looked at Love Letter, Venetian Red, and Red Ochre, and I really thought I'm not going to get as much variation out of these colors, but look at that, you do. So you're going to have more of a plum on the Love Letter. Then you move into a beautiful mix with the Venetian Red, and of course the Red Ochre is going to give you that straight up transitional shade. So let's watch these. Beautiful variation. Moving into the middle of my hand, definitely going to give you variation. Whereas just eyeing the palette, you don't think that you have as much variation as you do. But the palette itself is called Modern Renaissance. And to me, that means a lot of creativity. If you guys ever took art history in college or maybe even high school now, the Renaissance time was definitely a time for a lot of layering of colors, a lot of spackling, a lot of rich, bold color. And you know what? Again, Anastasia, she did not miss a beat. And lastly, when we talk about this amazingness of this palette, I have to say, you know, the worn taupe as well as the regular. Oh my God, these are beautiful. Look at that, just rich, taupey oranges. And another thing, just being mattes, you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck. And I'm just gonna swatch these. A lot of ways that you can transition the shades and not have to reach for another palette. Bam, there you are with those two shades. And of course, she did not miss a beat and gave us beautiful shimmers. The shade that you see me wearing in the middle of my lid right now is called Primavera. It has the most beautiful iridescence to it. And there's another one right in the middle called Vermeer. Oh my God, it feels so cool, so buttery. And I'm just gonna swatch these right here as well. And there you go. Mega pigmentation, and honestly, if you had to just grab a palette and you needed a highlight, either one of those could work. If you kind of put your finger into them and just pop them along the cheekbone or maybe on the tip of the nose, you'll get a beautiful highlight with those. So again, really just looking over the palette, I think you can get a lot of different variations from cools to warms, from neutral to smoky, and just by moving down the palette. I started here and moved this way, but I think if you really want to ramp up more of the red, you could work into this way and move backwards. And I think if you want to create more of a plum, you could land right here in this love letter shade. You can really stay in this quadrant down here on the deeper side and really create a beautiful Victorian-esque type eye. And then if you're just more of a normal neutral eye girl, you have a lot of different variations that you could work around this way. So again, depending on where you start and where you end, that's definitely going to give you the intensity of the eye of your choice. I think Anastasia hit it right out of the park with this palette. I will be keeping my palette. It is unlike any other palette that I have. If I had to say there was one con to the palette, I'm used to getting a beautiful dark black color or something in a deep, deep gray. And I'm used to getting that in the Anastasia palette. I don't see it here. However, if you see this beautiful neutral smoky eye that I've created, it was done with this palette. So how do I rate the Anastasia of Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette? I give it a thumbs up. I'm definitely thinking this needs to be in your collection, especially if you love collecting eyeshadow palettes. This is one not to miss. And again, if you do have different variations of eyeshadows, this is a great way just to have one palette that's going to do multiple different things. And yeah, I think it's going to be worth your investment. Now it's time for you guys to comment down below. What do you think about the Modern Renaissance palette? Will you be willing to come off that $42, girl? Make sure you comment down below. As always, guys, you know I love to connect with you, so make sure you connect with me on all my social media so you never miss another upload. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hugs and kisses. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.